Welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be answering that very difficult question: do I pick Gousto or Hello Fresh? Before I get into the video, please take a moment to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content so you don't miss any future uploads. Leave me a comment down below of what you think of this video, if you've tried Gousto or Hello Fresh before, if you agree with any of these points that I'm going to talk about today, or you disagree, or you just don't like either of them. Me and my husband have been subscribed to Gousto for over a year now, and I've always wanted to try Hello Fresh just so that I can compare, and I have been seeing adverts pop up for Hello Fresh everywhere. I've been seeing their meals advertised everywhere that look really good. So I've just wondered, what if Hello Fresh is better? So I actually signed up through a voucher code that I got in a glossy box, which gave me 60% off my first week and 40% off the next 3 boxes, which I thought was a hell of a saving. So I went ahead and subscribed. And first thing I want to comment on is the customer service. Now, I signed up with this code for 60% off my first box and 40% off the next 3 boxes. And for some reason, when the subscription was all through and I'd ordered the first box and it was all done, it swapped me onto a different deal, which was 50% off the first box and 10% off the following 27 boxes. And I hadn't realized by the time I'd ordered the first box. So I tried to get in touch with anybody on email, chat, Instagram, Facebook. I could not, for the life in me, get in touch with anybody for about 3 days. For some reason, when you clicked onto the report problem button on their website or their app, they would both glitch. And I just thought, okay, I'll DM them on Instagram. So I sent them a direct message on Instagram, basically explaining my problem. Can you swap me over to the original voucher code that I had? No reply for like days. So I decided to try the contact method again to report a problem. And then after a few days, it actually worked and I was able to get through to somebody. So for ages, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? I've subscribed to something for like 28 weeks and I can't get in touch with anybody. And I'm not going to lie, the comments on HelloFresh's Instagram account aren't very reassuring. They're all based around customer service, not being able to get in touch with anybody, not being able to cancel your subscription. But when I did finally get in touch with somebody, it was no trouble at all swapping me over onto the previous voucher code. Like, there was like no issue whatsoever. Once you got in touch with somebody, and that's my advice, if you are part of HelloFresh and you're struggling to get in touch with somebody, leave it a day, go back to the app or on the website and just keep trying to get in touch, because eventually the chat option will be available. And once you get through on there, their customer service is brilliant. Not on Instagram though. They do not reply to DMs. Contrary to that, I have never had an issue with the customer service from Gousto. If we've ever had a problem with a box, there used to be like an automated report problem where you would report a missing ingredient or a damaged ingredient or something that had gone off that shouldn't have, and it would automatically come back with, would you like this much with this much credit? Now, if it was quite an expensive product or you had quite a few ingredients missing because somebody in the boxing warehouse had a particularly bad day and the credit was just not going to be enough, I would send an email, which was relatively easy to do through their website or the app. They would literally come back within 24, 48 hours and solve the problem basically. So what I have done is I have filmed a full week's worth of preparing 4 Gousto meals and 4 Hello Fresh meals so that I could compare the cooking methods, the difference in the recipes that you get, the flavors and the types of recipes you can get. But before we get into the unboxing of both boxes and the cooking, just gonna give you a heads up on a couple more differences. So with Gousto, you can get between 2, 3 and 4 meals for either 2 or 4 people. And with Hello Fresh, you can do from 2 up to 5 meals a week for 2, 3 or 4 people. So there is a better range in terms of amounts of meals with Hello Fresh. But because there is more range, the recipe cards are a little bit trickier to follow. So with Hello Fresh, this is what a recipe card looks like. It's quite big. It's quite thick card, and you have a picture of the recipe on the front, a list of the ingredients that you will need, and then you've got all your nutritional information on the back with ingredient amounts depending on the number of people per meal. And the recipe is split into easy to follow chunks with pictures as well. Now a Gousto card is a little bit smaller. The card is a lot thicker, so it doesn't bend as much. And it's also perforated because you can actually keep these cards, and you can order one of these from Gousto for free to keep all your recipe cards in for the recipes that you want to keep. These are really, really handy. I don't know what I'm going to be keeping these in. A drawer, maybe? So a recipe card from Gousto looks pretty similar. It's got a picture of the recipe on the front, and it's got a list of the ingredients as well. But the difference is this tells you how many mil per sort of liquid product, how many grams. So like if you were to get a packet of like mince, how many grams it is. And also, if you had like garlic cloves, it tells you how many. On a Hello Fresh card, it doesn't tell you that. You have to look at the list of ingredients at the back before you know how much you need. Now, this is a little bit of a problem when you're halfway through the recipe and it says add the water. How much water? So you kind of got to, I mean, I've not got the best eyesight. You've kind of got to scan the list of the ingredients until you get down to the water, and then you've got to go across and find the column for 2 people, and then that's when it says how much you need. Whereas because Gousto is made for only 2 or 4 people, the recipe is actually written for 2 people, and then in brackets it has the conversion in red for 4 people. So for example, it would say 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but in brackets in red it has 4 tablespoons. So it's just a little bit quicker and a little bit more convenient. But as the week went on, I did get a little bit more used to how Hello Fresh cards worked. And a little tip as well, just scan the card from start to finish before you start cooking so that you're not met with any nasty surprises halfway through a recipe. So like I said, the customer service for Gousto on the whole has been pretty good. We have had missing ingredients in the past, but they've dealt with that in the form of credit. With Hello Fresh, our very first box, we got 4 meals delivered, and we also ordered a separate side, which was like a loaf of bread. That never came. That wasn't in the box, and you can see me unboxing it in the video. So that was another reason I wanted to get in touch with them to get a refund for that, because that cost something like £3.50, but then the credit they offered in return was something like £1. So I thought, well, no, I would like a refund. So ingredient substitutions. With Gousto, if anything needs to be substituted, for example, they might substitute chicken breasts with chicken thighs, they would send us an email just to give us the heads up. Whereas with Hello Fresh, I started cooking one of the recipes, and you were meant to have coriander with this recipe, and it said to chop it finely and then sprinkle it all over the meal at the end, which I did. And it wasn't until I started eating it that I realised it was parsley. Now, I love coriander. I don't love parsley. That was a bit annoying. I mean, I could have been more awake and realised at the time when I was opening the packet of parsley, but it is a little bit tricky when you're trying to cook at an angle so that you can film what you're cooking. So you're welcome. So the last couple of differences that I just wanted to point out was with Gousto you get some quick cook meals. Now these are like this one. This is a 10-minute meal, and with Hello Fresh they are called rapid meals, but they take 20 minutes to cook. So might not seem like a big difference, but when you both work full time and you've got plans in the evening, we kind of want something quick and easy to cook. There is very, very little prep as well with these 10-minute meals, like minimal chopping and preparing. It's literally just chuck ingredients in a pan and go. Whereas with these 20-minute meals with Hello Fresh, I found that some of them actually took me about 30 minutes. And then finally, the apps for both companies as well. The Gousto app I am now used to. So when choosing your meals, you can actually split the menu into different categories. So if you are like fully focused on a healthy diet, you can actually filter out all the healthy meals, and that makes it a little bit easier to do. I haven't found out if there's a way to do that on the HelloFresh app yet. And with the Gousto app, once you've chosen a meal, it goes down into a little like selection window at the bottom so you can see which meals you've chosen so far. So when you're scrolling, you can kind of see what you've picked so far and how many meals you've picked. Whereas with the HelloFresh app, they don't have that. So it's a little bit more scrolling. So I would say out of the two, the Gousto app is more user-friendly. So there are pros and cons to both, but as personal preference, we will be sticking with Gousto. There is virtually no price difference at all between the two unless you go for HelloFresh, where you can have up to 5 meals a week. Whereas with Gousto you can only have 4, so the price is kind of capped unless you go for some meals which have a supplement to pay. My customer service experience has definitely been better on the Gousto side. With HelloFresh, seeing as it was my first box, like I think I expected our first box to be perfect, but it had a few missing ingredients in some of the recipes. But what I would actually recommend is, if you've not signed up to either of them, more often than not, they have discounts for your first month. I would actually recommend trying both so that you can get a feel for the recipe cards and the apps and the kind of range of different meals that they both offer. And then you can choose depending on your own preference. But we have had absolutely no complaints with the quality of ingredients that we've had from HelloFresh or actually any of the meals. They were all really, really nice. But I think the style of meals from Gousto suit us a little bit better, and we prefer the cards and the app, and that's who we have personally decided to stick with. So yeah, my answer to the question, which one should I go with? Try both of them, because I don't think it's until you've tried both that you can decide which one is better for you. Because I really do think you need to try them both and experience them both and have a browse of their meals as well, just to see what kind of variety each company has. For example, with Gousto, in all the time we've been subscribed to them, I have never seen duck in any of the meals, whereas it seems to be quite a regular occurrence with HelloFresh, although there is a supplement to pay because duck tends to be a little bit more expensive. But at least you have the choice. Also, Gousto have partnered with Joe Wicks as well, and there are quite a few of his recipes on there, which obviously fall under healthy recipes. But I think that is enough of me talking, and I'm going to go ahead and play the unboxing and cooking of both boxes. So I hope you enjoy that. I've tried to show how each ingredient and each meal comes packaged as well, so you can get a little bit of an idea on that. So yeah, without any further ado, let's dive into the first box. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!